In the news tonight, the Ministry of Energy embarks on a major initiative. The Barbados Community College welcomes its latest cohort of students. Barbadians urged to educate themselves on the prevalence of Alzheimer's. And in sports, West Indies win the Youth ODI Series with Sri Lanka.
The headline news is brought to you by CARIFESTA 15, Caribbean Roots, Global Excellence.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you for tuning in. In our top story tonight, the Ministry of Energy and Business is embarking on a major initiative to help small businesses access equity financing. It is the Revolutionary Innovation Growth Market IGM 200 project, which was launched today. IGM 200 is a national initiative led by the Ministry of Energy and Business, the Barbados Stock Exchange, in collaboration with the Small Business Association and the CDB to empower 200 small and medium enterprises through access to equity financing. Minister of Energy and Business Lisa Cummins says for the IGM to succeed in a meaningful way, financial institutions and agencies must step forward together. She also shared her intention to create a national micro, small and medium enterprises financing partnership.
It is intended to provide investor readiness training, governance support, and financial literacy to MSMEs so that they are fully prepared to launch on the IGM. Secondly, there is to be an MSME growth and co-financing facility, which will allow for a blended financing mechanism that allows for debt, equity, and technical assistance to go together. Fund access, you will have to play, under our leadership, a broad risk-sharing role, while the banks and the credit unions are going to be called on to look at how we can invest along private investors, and we're depending on partners like ICAP to help us, Lisa. Thirdly and finally, the third plank, I call it the Holy Trinity, National MSME Support Alliance. This is where all of our business support organizations need to come in. But a coordinated coalition linking financial institutions.
The Caribbean Development Bank is providing a $350,000 technical assistance grant to help build a capacity of 50 firms, with the goal that at least 20 of these businesses will become investor ready and list on the IGM. President of the CDB, Daniel Best, says this is a significant investment to help small businesses.
This effort is not just about paperwork. It's about training, mentorship, and education, so that business owners and investors alike understand the opportunities of equity financing and stock market participation. At our recently concluded second Caribbean-wide risk conference, where we explored unlocking private sector potential and risk-sharing solutions for sustainable development, access to finance emerged again as a critical theme. Issues such as MSME readiness, governance, investment access, and empowerment all surfaced, and each is addressed in some way through the IGM platform.
Well, too many small enterprises are relying solely on debt financing. That's according to Minister of Energy and Business Senator Lisa Cummins. She says it is concerning that small business owners are operating on 12.5% personal loans instead of commercial loans. She says those in the business community know financing a business on a personal loan with a 12.5% interest rate is a horror story and is not tenable. She's warning micro, small and medium enterprises that debt financing through personal loans is not the sustainable way to grow a business.
This ministry actually is almost an oxymoron. You have energy, which is large, bulky, heavy, capital-intensive projects on the one hand, and you have business, including the small businesses, on the other hand. And when we do transaction structuring in the energy sector, large companies financing $180 million US in projects, $150 million in US in projects, guess what? They have debt partners, they have equity partners, and they've been able to also bring together with them experts from networks that are able to bring expertise and skills and relationships. Together, those things create a winning combination. Our MSMEs need to also do what the big companies do.
The Bridgetown Lions Club, with support from Affinity Plus Credit Union, has renovated the sick bay at the Irvin Wilson School. Club President Louis Linton spoke to the media about the partnership and its history with the school.
It is with immense joy that I stand before you today to express our commitment to the grand reopening of the school's wellness center, a symbol of the club's commitment to finding space for a healing in a holistic way. This enhancement was achieved through the partnership with Affinity Plus Credit Union as part of their ReCare program. We are extremely grateful for their support and generosity, which made it possible. The Lions Club has a rich legacy with the Irvin Wilson School from its inception, and today's presentation demonstrates our ongoing support for the well-being of the school community and our overall commitment to embrace young people with diverse skills and abilities. At the heart of our commitment to the school, it is our belief that small changes can yield profound results, and the management of the school has prioritized wellness for its students.
Well, the Bridgetown Lions Club visited Ann Hill School and donated translation pens to help with reading and listening. They also provided ball mazes to encourage teamwork and critical thinking. Principal Imelda Bell expressed her gratitude to the club for their support.
So it assists them or helps them with their reading so that they become more confident, because successes breed success. And I believe that they're already excited because they were trying it out a little earlier and they were, quite amused. Our former head boy, he said, it's an interesting bit of technology. Did I quote you right, Edward? Yes. And so they are already excited to have these pens and see what they can do and to explore them on a much larger basis.
The Barbados Community College officially welcomed its newest cohort today with a convocation ceremony focused on cultivating positive emotions, optimizing mental health and wellness. The college gym was packed to capacity with students who are now entering their first year, some from as far as Nigeria and Cuba. Deandra Roberts was there and she filed this report.
Hundreds of first-year students filled the BCC gym this morning, ready to start their academic journey. Deputy Principal Samuel Boyne urged them to stay the course, likening success to a steady drip of water carving a rock. Mr. Boyne told them that they need to be consistent with their behavior and their studies and to strive for excellence.
Don't come with a bucket with, you can put everything into the first week of school. I need you to be consistent for your 2 years, your 3, or your 4 years. That every day you're going to eat away at that work that's presented to you. And as you eat away at that work that's presented to you, you're aiming for, I can't hear you, you're aiming for, okay, all right.
He highlighted special scholarships for first-year culinary and hospitality students and also first-year general nursing students. He says applications come to an end next week.
$9,200 is the value for those who are in culinary arts or hospitality studies for your first year. No, wouldn't you say that's amazing? I think so too. And for general nursing, the value is $9,000 for the first year. In the second year, it gets a little less, but do you think that that's worth going after? There are 4 scholarships available for general nursing and 2 each for culinary arts and hospitality studies. I hope to see your application. If you need the QR code for that, I have it.
Registrar Roger Worrell cautioned the students about the dress code noting that there has already been some breaches, and he called on the students to familiarize themselves with the college regulations.
And one other regulation I want you to pay special attention to, because we already saw some breaches of it at the beginning of the semester, the dress code. We have a dress code, and we expect students to comply with the dress code. Okay? No excessively short shorts, no exposure of your bodies. BCC is not a beach, and therefore we expect you to dress with a certain amount of decorum when you come on the campus.
The students have taken the pledge to respect, honor and uphold the standards of the college, with opportunities for scholarships, overseas exchanges and strong support systems. BCC leaders say the key is consistency, both in class and character. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
As tributes continue to flow for educator and trade unionist, the Most Honourable Patrick Frost, Minister of Educational Transformation Chad Blackman has also added his voice to those offering condolences.
In remembering Mr. Frost, we celebrate more than the positions he held. We celebrate the values that he embodied: integrity, dedication, humility, and a fierce commitment to fairness. We celebrate a teacher who had used language with precision, a unionist who stood up in defense of his colleagues, a sportsman who played, coached, and inspired, and a leader who never shied from the difficult conversations about reform, rights, and national development. His life has left an indelible imprint on us all. As a nation, we give thanks for his rich service, mourn his absence, and commit to honoring his legacy in the lives of those that he taught, those that he advocated for, and those still inspired by him.
And coming up on Newsnight, we'll hear from the Barbados representative at the Regional Youth Parliament in Nassau. Stay with us. 6 staff members from the geriatric hospital have been reassigned to the district hospitals in St. Philip and St. Lucie. Confirmation of this from Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Wayne Marshall. However, he firmly rejects suggestions that the reassignments were acts of victimization, following concerns raised by nurses regarding patient allocation during the scabies outbreak, as outlined in correspondence from 2 workers' unions.
The decision was driven solely by the need to address acute staffing shortages at the district hospitals and to safeguard the delivery of safe, high-quality care across all facilities. Additionally, it reflects the ministry's ongoing commitment to balancing resources. It is important to note that earlier this year, staff from district hospitals were reassigned to the geriatric hospital to provide support in similar circumstances.
Further, Mr. Marshall urges the nurses who've been transferred to continue delivering safe, effective and compassionate care to patients despite adjustments as a result of the changes.
The ministry acknowledges that an administrative oversight led to the citation of incorrect legislation in the letters issued. Notwithstanding, the reassignments were fully within the purview of the ministry's authority and did not infringe upon the rights of any officer. It is important to note that discussions about reassignments were held with staff of the geriatric hospital several months in advance, and those directly affected were notified both verbally and in writing at least 2 weeks prior to the effective date. The ministry has already met with senior union officials regarding the matter and will be convening an additional meeting in response to the most recent letter received. Written responses will also be provided to formally outline the ministry's position.
Barbados made its voice heard in the fight against climate change as Youth Delegate Denzel Green delivered a stirring address at the Regional Youth Parliament in Nassau. Mr. Green told regional youth leaders the Caribbean is already feeling the impact of erupting volcanoes, freak storms and deadly hurricanes. He said the adverse effects of climate change are no joke.
We have beared witness to how suddenly characteristics in our environment can change, whether it be the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, or the freak storm that caught Barbados a bit by surprise, or even right here, ma'am, in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that saw great devastation towards some of its islands because of the passage of Hurricane Dorian. But even in the midst of all of that, ma'am, I am cognizant of the fact that small island developing states will continue to face this challenge and fix it, in the words of former Prime Minister of Barbados, the late Honorable Owen Seymour Arthur.
He highlighted Barbados' leadership, informing those present the country has the highest number of electric vehicles in the region.
I am proud to say here this morning that back home in Barbados, the gem of the Caribbean and indeed the diamond of the world, we continue, Madam Speaker, in spite of all the differences and difficulties we face, we continue to punch above our weight. And I say so, Madam Speaker, because today Barbados has the largest amount of electric vehicles in the Caribbean and arguably in the Western Hemisphere.
Education is key to understanding dementia and how it works. And executive board member of the Barbados Alzheimer's Association, Kyla Branch, wants the public to know that cardiovascular diseases play a role in contributing to the debilitating condition. High blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, obesity, and inactivity are all risk factors, not only for a heart attack or a stroke, but also dementia. World Alzheimer's Month is being celebrated this month under the theme, Ask About Dementia, Ask About Alzheimer's. Ms. Branch was speaking as a guest on TV8's Morning Barbados.
And so we always tell people what is good for your heart is also good for your brain. So for example, when we're considering vascular dementia, of course, we know that if there's any clot within any of the vasculature, then ultimately you will have cell death. And of course, this cell death, if it happens in your brain, results in a stroke, it results in a number of issues that persons obviously may want to avoid. And so when we talk about risk, it is really with a view of if we know what is modifiable, then let's modify it. Yeah. Because there are things that are non-modifiable. For example, your age. You cannot modify your age. And so therefore, age is a risk factor of dementia as well. It doesn't mean, though, that it's a normal part of aging, which is a myth that some people have. They believe that, okay, you become a certain age, and so ultimately this is something that will happen to you. This, of course, is not true. And the Alzheimer's Association, in conjunction with Alzheimer's Disease International, the umbrella body on which we're under, and 104 other countries actually are under this umbrella, we seek to dispel these myths.
In business tonight, a call is being made for the use of non-toxic cleaning materials. Cleaning specialist and head of J&J Industrial and Cleaning Service, Jason Barnett, highlighted this concern, and he tells the Business Report that a number of personal problems experienced by most people are as a result of using toxic chemicals in business places as well as in homes. Trevor Thorpe reports.
The cleaning specialist says they were working on their product and are now ready to introduce it to the market. He said it is one which is set to change the way offices, schools and vehicles are cleaned in Barbados.
Toxic chemicals have something in it called forever chemicals, which once inhaled or is used, they never break down, they never go anywhere. It's very hard to get rid of them. So just picture that you're working or you're living 70 years, 80 years, 40 years, even 30 years, and you're constantly using toxic chemicals. You're breathing it in. Over time, all those chemicals will build up in your system, in your body. And you find that a lot of persons, they're retiring from work or they're just coming down with random things that they never had before.
Mr. Barnett says it is a total cleaning system they have introduced to the local market, and it is long-lasting.
What our product does, first it cleans, it is a non-toxic product, non-toxic cleaning, and it cleans totally. It removes any toxic chemicals from any surface that it goes on. It cleans and sanitizes that surface, lifts those toxic chemicals, leaving the area completely sanitized and toxic-free. Some areas may take a while for those chemicals to be removed because we've been using so much toxic chemicals over the years. But what this does, it breaks down any germs that may be in the atmosphere, and it continues working without stopping under light, if it's artificial light or sunlight.
The cleaning service does not stop at interiors, but also includes driveways.
we have introduced to you a surface, a floor cleaning surface. If you have marble floors, we can resurface, we can clean, we can redo your marble from making it look from as old as it is to brand new. If you have vinyl floors, if you have clay tone, we do all this cleaning, all this shining and polishing. And the beauty about it, we do not use wax or acrylic. Wax and acrylic are both harmful and toxic for you. Once used, it's always in the atmosphere.
Mr. Barnett says business is encouraging and he is committed to keeping Barbados healthy. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Keep data consistent and standardized. That was the message from Senior Manager of Client and Product Profitability Strategies Implementation at CBC Caribbean, Quinn Weeks. He was addressing the topic Beyond Intelligence, Data and AI-Driven Strategy at the bank's webinar today. He told the audience a comprehensive data audit is also essential to this goal.
The good thing is that without sending your data to the cloud, you could start off by just asking like a popular AI like ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever the case may be to actually help you do a step-by-step guide of how to actually go about your data audit. And what you're going to do is kind of state the problem that you're looking to solve or your objectives, and it could give you a nice step-by-step process of how you could go about this data audit.
The bank official further explained that data from various sources such as Excel spreadsheets, WhatsApp messages and emails all have a place within the data ecosystem and should be standardized to ensure accuracy and reliability.
Especially if you're in the analytics field, you always hear this term garbage in, garbage out, right? Which is essentially, if you want to have a data-driven strategy, you need to ensure you have high-quality data. But the other thing with regards to data that you guys should also pay attention to is the freshness or the timeliness of your data. It's one thing for you to have high quality data, but if it's 6 months old, then it's probably not going to be that useful for you to make a decision.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In, Pause is Power, and by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Let's head back over to the sports studio where Damien is standing by with the second half in sports. Damien?
Yeah, thanks so much, Lisa. Well, the 41st Barbados Golf Open teed off this morning at the Barbados Golf Club Endurance, and this year's edition sees a special partnership with the ongoing National Senior Games. And it was only fitting that Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey got things going as 120 players from 8 Caribbean countries are on the greens for this year's competition. President of the Barbados Golf Association, David Phillips, says year after year the tournament is expanding.
A special thanks to the members of the fellow Caribbean countries who actually have been supporting these tournaments over the last couple of years, and we look forward to expanding them. This is the second year we have Suriname, and the numbers are actually increasing. And ironically, and then there's one guy from the Congo Republic of Africa who's actually participating in the tournament today as well.
Well, as mentioned, the players in the senior and super senior divisions will be in focus for this year's tournament. Minister Humphrey says as Barbados is approaching the stage of being an aged society with 21% of the population over 65, getting involved in sports like golf is key to aging actively.
I want to encourage the Golf Association just to help us get more people to play golf. I would even challenge them to go bigger, and that there are a lot of vulnerable communities that we've identified as part of our peace program, where there are a number of young people who will be encouraged to form different things, try new sports, try new adventures, see something outside their community, and golf could be one of those activities where you could have people mentoring some of these young people and really changing Barbadian society, because we only have one Barbados.
Well, after today's opening round, Mariella Young leads the women with a 1 under par 71. Victoria Sinaf ended the day with an even par 72, and Nefertari Aline 2 over par 74. In the men's top flight, Joshua Zambrano is the leader with a 4 under par 68. Brian Fares ended on an even par 72, and Richard Phillips was 2 over par with 74. The first tee-off time for tomorrow's second round is 7:30 a.m.
And from tonight, CBC Sports will be highlighting the best goals in the Prime Minister's Football Cup.
It was a brilliant individual effort from a talented teenager that led to the first 3 points for Whitehall Titans in the 2025 Prime Minister's Cup football competition. Whitehall in the orange were trailing Deacons FC 1-0 before Honor Bradshaw made it 1-1 at halftime. Then the game winner and goal of the week was hammered home in the 72nd minute via 15-year-old Ellerslie schoolboy Malik Peters as Whitehall secured the 2-1 win.
So the ball given right back to Deacons lads, and this one must have loved. Here comes Whitehall with a chance! Sloppy work, and your pass